Well, hi there, Cooking Club members. I'm making grilled corn with chilies and cotija, and this is a very simple recipe. So simple that you may think, does it really need a demo? Well, yes, it does need a demo, and I'll tell you why. I have two reasons. The first is that when I'm interviewing or just talking to farmers or food producers, I always ask them what their favorite way of preparing what they produce is, whether it's asparagus or blueberries or tomatoes, or as in this case, sweet corn. Now, invariably, the response is no matter what the product is, barely cooked, certainly never overcooked, with almost no seasoning. So, in its simplest form, so that you can really taste the product, which is what they really care about. Now, many corn producers like sweet corn raw. So I put some in this recipe to offset the grilled corn and give it that pure corn flavor and raw corn pop. Now, my second reason for demoing this simple recipe, many similar recipes add oil with the acid, basically making a dressing. We're using a little canola oil spray to facilitate the grilling of the corn, but we aren't adding any oil at the end with the lime juice. And one of the reasons chefs add oil to recipes is that oil coats your mouth and helps distribute flavor evenly. So it makes sense that they want to do it, but it also tends to mask the flavor. Some oils have their own flavor, so I opted to not add any oil at all. So just let the lime juice shine is what I say, and I think it contributes to the fresh, light quality of this recipe. So earlier today, I shucked my corn and I washed my limes and my pepper. So this corn we're using is extremely fresh. I picked it up at the market this morning. It was picked early in the day, so fresh. The husks are extremely tight to the cob. That's a good thing. And I used 4 ears of corn and I'm ready to go with it. Okay, I am going to glove up for this process because I'm going to be dealing with a hot pepper. And I might as well have my hands in gloves the whole time. My grill has been started. It is a charcoal grill, so we're going to let it get nice and hot. And as the charcoal starts to die down, that's the perfect time to grill our corn. And in the meantime, we'll get everything prepped for the entire recipe so that we can just go forward when the grilled corn is done. So I'm going to take one of the cobs of corn. Remember I said that I was going to use some fresh corn, and this is it. And I'm going to cut this off of the cob. And you want to just go right down the side, not too deep into the cob itself. That is inedible, so you want to just go right along the side. There should be some resistance, but it shouldn't be difficult to cut the corn off the cob. Some of it will stick together in little pieces, but for the most part, it's all going to break apart. If it really sticks together, then you're going too deep into the cob, and that's a problem because that's really chewy and kind of not fun to eat. Almost set here. Okay, that looks great. Let me just set this off to the side here. And then I'm going to go ahead and slice my shallot, and I have a pretty large shallot here. You can really smell this. It's pretty oniony smelling. Very thinly, and I want this in rings. So that's why I'm not cutting it in half as I would do ordinarily with an onion or a shallot, just to get it that flat side down so it doesn't roll away from me. But I want whole rings in this. I think that's really nice. And we're going to do the same thing with our pepper. Looks like a pretty small shallot, but once you get it all sliced, it's quite a lot. I'm trying to go very thin, so sometimes I'm falling off the edge here a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Then these are going to go into my bowl, and I'm just going to kind of separate them now. When I stir it up, they'll separate further, but you might as well get them somewhat separated. They look really nice in these little rings, but you don't want someone to get a whole slice, so you want to separate them so they distribute throughout the salad. I'm calling it a salad. It kind of is a salad. It's kind of a side dish. You can call it what you want to. There we go. Almost there. Now I'm using a red jalapeno, and the fact is that in hot peppers, and jalapeno is technically a hot pepper, it's not a super hot pepper, but as they turn red, they're sitting on the vine longer, and they have a higher capsaicin level, which is what the hot stuff is because they've been on the vine longer. So as they turn red, they get hotter. So these can be a little deceptive if you're used to green jalapenos and you're thinking they're not that hot. These can get pretty hot. So I'm going to use half of one, but what I am going to do is slice it with the seeds. So I'm not going to de-seed it because I do like heat. Just a whole one of these with these ratios would get to be a little bit hot. But of course, if you're one of those people that just can take the heat, then go ahead and add the whole jalapeno if you want to. Fresnos would work really good for this. Serranos would be good too. Serranos, these red jalapenos to me are about the same heat as a green serrano, so that gives you a little gauge. I'm going to do one more. I just love the color. I might regret the heat, but I love the color. Okay, we'll set that guy aside. And then next, we have to juice a lime or two. We'll see how far we get. I did pop these into the microwave for probably 20 seconds, and that helps. So you never know what you're going to get with a lime. Sometimes they're really tight and you don't get a whole lot of juice. These seem really nice and juicy. That makes me happy. And there's that fresh, wonderful smell, which is going to really make this salad great. Okay. And I need a 1/4 cup. I am going to measure this. Just a 1/4 cup. So that's good news. I was thinking I was going to have to go to my second lime, but I did not have to. So in that goes. Now remember, we're putting a lot more corn in here, so don't get nervous. And we're going to do a little salt and pepper. You're going to taste this at the end too, so you don't have to get too specific about how much you put in here. Just consider this a first seasoning. And then we'll stir this up. Set it aside. Let all those flavors meld together. And then I have some cotija cheese. Actually, I think this is queso fresco cheese. I don't think we could get the cotija, but I want to break that up. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. About 2 ounces, I'm going to guess on that. I'm going to put in how much I want, which is kind of a lot. I like this. Okay, then that's going to be all ready to go. And then now I will get rid of my gloves. And I have here some cilantro. This is directly from my garden, and it's starting to go to seed a little bit. So I don't have the nice leaves, but it still has that great cilantro flavor. And I need about 1/2 cup of this, so I'm going to just kind of pull these off. I do have some regular leaves, but you know how it gets that kind of fine quality to it as it gets older, later in the season. And of course, I never get to all my cilantro. I use a ton of it, but I still never get to all of it. Great. I think that is plenty. All right. Now I've got everything prepped that I need, and my corn is marinating nicely in my lime juice, and I've got these 3 ears of corn right here left, and these are the ones that are going on the grill. And what I'm going to do with those is just spray them very lightly with canola oil, canola cooking spray. And that's just to help them out on the grill so that they don't just cook dry, which is not a good thing. Just a light spraying. No salt and pepper. got all of our seasoning going on in the bowl, so we don't do anything with this. And I'm going to take them out to my grill. My grill should be perfect now for doing the corn, and we'll go outside and do that. These are direct heat, and every once in a while here, I'm just going and giving them a little quarter turn so they cook evenly. You can see they're getting nice and charred. This is just going to take about 10 to 12 minutes to get them nice and charred on all sides. There is nothing quite like the smell of grilled corn. Now this has been cooling down for quite a while. It's not quite as cool as I'd like it to be, but that's fine. The salad can be served room temperature, or it can be served chilled, whatever you want. Or if you have warm corn and you want it warm, go for it. Why not? We have 3 of these to do. The same rule applies though when you're cutting the kernels off of the cob. Same thing as when it was raw. You don't want to go too deep. You want to just make sure that you can glide your knife easily down the side and get just the kernels, not the cob. And look at that beautiful color. One left. You notice I'm doing this in a separate bowl, and that's just because I don't really want my cob to be sitting in the dressing, the lime juice with everything else. So I'm doing it in a separate bowl, and then I'll just mix it right in. And I think this is my last pass here. Perfect. Okay, well, let's do this. Go. So here's my marinating fresh corn, and I can guarantee you that this has got some heat going on already because I know these little jalapenos have a little more kick than the green ones. Let's get our corn in there, our grilled corn. And it's not going to be a problem that's a little on the warm side. That will just help it absorb the lime juice and the spices a little bit more. And then let's go ahead and put in our cilantro. And our cheese. It's not warm enough to melt the cheese. We don't want that going on. We want it to stay in sort of chunks, but it will incorporate and melt a little bit. Maybe because of the lime juice more than because of the heat, because there really isn't significant heat going on. All right, let me give this just a little taste. It is fresh and it's spicy and it's limey and it's absolutely yummy. I did a couple more stirs and I have a little plate here. I'm gonna plate some up. Now, I think this is a perfect side dish if you're going to some sort of a gathering and you want to scale it up, scales up easily. You can make it the morning of, you could make it the day before. You could hold off on the cheese and add that at the last minute, but you don't have to, so you have just a lot of options. For me, however, this would just be probably on a bed of microgreens would be just a lovely lunch, just like this. And I want to make sure I get a couple of those red jalapenos in there. Just gorgeous. And you see how pretty it looks with the rings of the pepper and the rings of the shallot. I just love it. Okay, I really hope you enjoy making my grilled corn with chilies and cotija. Make it at home tonight. Let me know how it goes. Take care. Mwah.